So again, I'm gonna try to breeze through this. I'm pretty sure every single university that is hosting this year has hosted in the past. So none of this should be absolutely brand new or eye-opening for any of you. A lot of it's just kind of guidelines, things that we want to make sure you're covering. And then when it comes to really the minor details, every tournament's a little bit different, and we trust you to run the tournament to the best of your abilities and still represent NIRSA in the best light. So we're going to cover some of the basics for hosting a regional tournament, things that come up to be prepared for. Brand management we're going to go over briefly, some assessment stuff as well, answer any questions that you may have, and then talk about some of the post-event information that is needed from you all for the assessment team and also for us in the national tournament. And then going on to the national tournament, we'll be talking about some of the staffing and the officials for that tournament. So first things first, the NIRSA Championship Series website, the link is right there. I'm sure all of you are very familiar with it. Your contact information is all located on that website, but there's also other things that can help you. We have an operations handbook that you can find there. Also, in some of the future slides, we're going to go over some of the staff applications and whatnot. All can be located on this NIRSA Championship Series website, and it's not just flag football. It goes into the basketball tournaments, also soccer, everything that the NIRSA Championship Series has. It's a great website if you're looking for any questions and I'm not able to respond to you immediately, or no one from NIRSA is able to respond to you immediately as well. In terms of planning for your flag football tournament, we need to make sure we're getting the forms for our participants. They should be available right now. Remember, we need to have the waivers, the registration forms, registrar's forms, code of conduct, rosters. All these things need to get out to the team so they're able to fill those and complete them and get them back to you. If you have additional school forms, include those in your packet, but NIRSA paperwork must be included and completed. There is a reason that we have all of these things sent to you for you to give to the teams. It's because we would like it back completed. NIRSA liability insurance information will come before your tournament as well. So again, all this stuff is the same that it's been in the past. If you have questions, each one of you has been assigned a tournament liaison. It is likely that they have not contacted you yet, but they should be contacting you either by the end of this week or sometime next week. They are a resource for any information that you may need, any guidance that you may need. They are a direct link to me, and they are reporting everything that we discuss out to you. Their job is not to help you necessarily run the tournament, but it's to just make sure you're on the ball and make sure that you have everything covered that we need and that NIRSA needs as well. They'll probably be in touch anywhere between 2 and 3 total times. So after this coming week or two, they'll be in touch once or twice more. Something I probably should have done at the beginning, introduce myself. My name is Mark Comer. I am the chair of the flag football work team. I'm the assistant director at the University of Baltimore. Even in this position, I'm not the end-all, be-all of flag football. There are going to be questions you have that I am not able to answer. And if I need to find answers, I will do everything I can to get those answers as quickly as possible. OC Weefall is on this call as well right now. He will be a huge resource for me. He's also someone you can contact. And then at the bottom of this slide, Valerie McCutcheon from NIRSA. All of you should know who Val is. She is an amazing resource. And then Keely Naughton is the brand new NIRSA coordinator. So her information is there as well. All right, so some things that we're always want to make sure that our tournaments are doing is promoting your own regional tournament. It is huge, huge, huge to make sure we're getting the information out as early and often as possible and in as many ways as we can to get as many teams as possible. Use regional school contacts, use NIRSA regional officers, state officers, campus contacts. Drawing small numbers is a factor in site selection, so numbers are important. We'd like to see more teams. Obviously, if we could have all huge tournaments, that'd be fantastic. We know it's not possible, but we want to see an effort to get those team numbers up. Do more than the minimum. Don't just rely on word of mouth and expect the teams that have come to your tournaments in the past to just continue to come. Look to go out there, find more teams, find more universities, more colleges that have intramurals or even sport club flag football teams, and try to get those to your tournament. NIRSA has done a lot with leadership positions that are able to reach out and contact schools all over the region. So if you're really using your regional contacts, both professional and student leaders, they can get that information out. So reach out to them sooner rather than later, so it's not a couple weeks prior to your tournament and you're still trying to figure out if you're going to have enough teams for a co-rec division. Do everything you can as early as possible. Some other things that you can do in order to help with your tournament, a lot of it's for financials, or if it's for trying to get different things to give away to either participants or to officials. Contact your Visitors Bureau. Contact your sports commissions if you have any questions, or if you have contacts that you have used that have been extremely good to you in the past. Please let Valerie at NIRSA know. I know the state of Texas was given a good amount of money last year for both their basketball and flag football tournaments. Contact local or state officials association for potential donations, sponsorships, or guest speakers. The national tournament does this every single year, and they're able to get camp scholarships to give out to officials. We're able to get guest speakers that are high-level college officials. So reach out to that. There's a lot of people that in the officiating world that are always looking to give back. Contact local vendors for coupons or giveaways. I know this is definitely something that every host tournament has to do, trying to get those deals on food and hotels and whatnot, but make sure you're doing that sooner rather than later. And then also your campus resources, campus newspapers, video or film classes. Is it something that you're able to get a little more film on your games, not only for officials review, but potentially for a highlight package that you can use for future tournaments in terms of promoting it, or just to send out to teams and to kind of get them amped up after the tournament and potentially get them interested in heading down to the national tournament. Health and wellness classes for volunteers, physical trainers, things of that nature. Do you have that on your campus? Is that something that they're interested in helping out with? Staff applications are live on the NIRSA website. For all normal staff positions, it will close on the 6th of September, so that is a few weeks away. Directive officials application closes at the end of this month, so that is next week. So we want that in. We would like you to have a director of officials selected by the 9th of September. That way we can get their information and we can start getting them to watch the webinar that we have for the director of officials, and we want to make sure they have all the information they need to be a success. So if possible, we would like that information by the 9th of September. That is something your liaison will be asking about when they contact you. All other positions will be selected from applications. So everything's done through the NIRSA website. We would like to see everyone who is on staff at your tournament have applied through the NIRSA website. It allows us to track data a lot easier. It allows us to, have everything in our database. If you know certain individuals that come to your tournament and help out, if they have not applied yet, please have them apply. Take care of your region first. Every single region has a tournament. Now there will be certain schools or certain states that are closer to a regional tournament that might not be in their NIRSA region. Do what you can to help the people in your area get on staff, help the officials in your area get on staff. Limit extreme distance for staff if possible. Yes, it's great to travel. Yes, it's great to see old friends and old buddies and whatnot, but we want to make this as inclusive as possible. And if we are taking people that have to fly to come back to a tournament as opposed to people who are only an hour or two drive away, that hurts our relations with those schools, especially if it's a school that's not a traditional NIRSA tournament school in terms of sending either official staff or teams. Do what you can to take care of your region first. Again, staff applications, this is the link. It's on the NIRSA Championship Series website, so you can find it there as well. A reminder, staff due September 6th, directors due August 31st. Officials application, we are working to streamline that as well through the NIRSA website. Currently, tournaments have been doing it individually, whether through a Google Drive or a printed sheet that you have scanned and emailed back or faxed back to the host tournament. We would like to get this done through one application so that we can have all that information. And again, it's something that we would like to start collecting for our assessment purposes, and if possible, we want all that streamlined to make it easier on our end. That link should be available no later than the middle of September, so we can have that out and you can send that out to all the schools, and you can put that on your website that you have for your tournament and whatnot, and that way we can get all officials applications coming through one area. One of the big things we were working on last year, and something that we want to continue to work on, is the culture of flag football. Flag football has been a male-dominated sport in all capacities for many years, and this is something that any of us that are involved in sports, watch sports, follow sports, we know there's been a huge push for female involvement. If you just look at officiating side of things, NBA, NFL, they've all started officiating groups with a focus on female officiating. The NFL in particular has a group called Women Officiating Now, WON1, and it's something that we want to continue to push as well. So we need to ask ourselves, what are we doing as professionals to be inclusive and encouraging? What are some standard practices we could use to increase the number of female officials, committee members? We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to be open and to get as much female involvement as we can in flag football. So some of the things we got to ask ourselves are, how intentional are we in looking for female staff? For example, if your applications come in and you have only males, is it something that you can reach out to some colleagues in the field that schools that have female coordinator, female graduate assistants, and just see if they're interested in coming and joining? We got to go above and beyond at times to open ourselves up and to increase our diversity. And I know the focus is on female, but it's all sorts of diversity we need to be looking into. If we're able to reach out to people prior to the applications being due, we have a greater chance of increasing our diversity and increasing our female involvement at our NIRSA tournaments. For staffing, who is in your region that can be invited or selected? Are you reaching out to them ahead of time? Again, if we're doing it prior to applications being due, we're going to get more applications from female and from a more diverse background. And then some of the things we need to do individually, always making sure we're aware of our unconscious biases. Some of the verbiage, and I still catch myself doing it as well, saying you guys or come on guys, things like that, instead of saying everyone or gang or words like that are more inclusive than phrases like you guys. Support versus criticism, backing officials, dealing with teams. We want to make sure that we are being as fair and equal across the board as possible, because we do want to make sure NIRSA flag football, along with the NFL, the NBA, we're on that same course, and that we are trying to get away from this belief that, especially in football is only male officials. Only males play tackle football. We only have male officials. We want to get away from that. We want to do everything we can to increase our female involvement. Our Director of Officials and our Officials Committee member webinars are geared for education and awareness, so we'll have things that are touching on this as well with that. But it's something, as the host committee, as the host of these tournaments, it really starts at the top. If we're selecting staff, if we're bringing on people that are of a diverse background, it's going to trickle down to the officials and even to the players. They'll recognize things like that as well. So again, same thing with officials as with staff. Are we reaching out to schools, looking to see if they have female officials? There's plenty of schools that have a lot of female officials. Are we seeing if they're interested in sending any of them, as opposed to, making it a guys' weekend in quotes? Can you open the officials training up to anyone who wants to attend versus only selected officials to try to get some more involvement? And then can you get your own female officials involved? If you're hosting a tournament and you have a handful of female officials on campus, but they're not coming out to officiate, that says something about, and it's not necessarily a negative towards you, but what is it that we are not doing to get our females to feel comfortable and confident enough to officiate at our own flag football tournaments? And then educating our officials as well, crew dynamics, crew support, dealing with teams who use inappropriate language with female officials specifically, educating them so that they know how to look out for each other, so they know how to protect each other, and they're comfortable with each other, so it's not a situation of the male officials hear something negative about a female official and say, oh, well, that's for her to deal with, or that's for the females to deal with. That's not something I deal with. Making them better crew, making them a better crew overall by educating them. So again, it's a huge task that we have in front of us to change the culture, but it's something where if we're all putting in that extra effort, it is something that we can accomplish. So moving on from that, if you're using IM leagues to set up your tournament, your waiver can be electronic, but the paper ones still need to be completed. Email and ID number, try to require both of them on IM leagues, and then stats. It's your decision to track and post them or not. One of the charges for our flag football work team this year is to work on our all-tournament selections for the participants. We're going to try to make it a little bit easier, or try to make it something that we use across the country in all of our regional tournaments to kind of bring that out of the players, where they're able to see their stats, or they're able to see certain things, to get them a little bit more excited that they can always go back and look at how they did in individual games and for a whole tournament. Participant and officials' names, gender, and email addresses must be sent to the assessment team the Monday following your tournament. We will have that email for you before your tournament in terms of where to send it to. How to handle roster changes and updates. Every tournament can do what they need to do, so it is kind of individual. Again, you've all hosted, your universities have all hosted before, so each probably do it a little bit different. One thing that we have to have is we need approval from the school's registrar on any roster. Do not accept a roster change that Friday of the tournament where a team says, oh, these 2 players have been added without approval from the registrar's office. I know in the past that, you would go to, if the school's professional staffer was there, you'd go and you get them to vouch or whatnot. We should be getting the school's registrar's approval for every single roster change, any additions to rosters, late additions. ID issues, we recommend that you only accept the school ID cards, but you can choose to allow any photo ID. But again, it must be a photo ID. We have to make sure that the people who are participating in our NIRSA tournaments are who they say they are, and the only way that can be done is with a proper photo ID. Any government-issued photo ID is great, but again, that's kind of up to your tournament in terms of the level of photo ID. If you're only limiting it to the school ID cards, or are you including driver's license, are you including if they have a credit card that has their picture on it, whatnot, that's up to you. Eligibility clarifications. Any eligibility appeals must be sent to the standards work team. Tournaments cannot make judgments for yourself. You need to email Valerie for all eligibility appeals. Once Valerie gets that, she will pass it along to the standards work team. So make sure you're going through those proper steps. Email Valerie first. She will forward it along. How to appeal an eligibility rule. And this is something that you can give to any teams or players that are not happy with the decision, or would like to appeal a particular player, again, contact Valerie with NIRSA. She'll forward it along to the standards work team for the official ruling. If the player or team is not happy with the official ruling, they can appeal to the appeals board. This might take several days to receive a final ruling. So this is something that should not be done, a week prior to the tournament. They should be doing this several weeks, if not months, prior to, if they're trying to get a participant who is not listed as eligible, if they're trying to appeal that to get them eligible. All right, so format of the tournament. For pool play, the minimum number of games has to be 2 games. You're more than welcome to do more than that, but we should not have teams paying to participate in our tournament and only getting 1 pool play game. I do understand that there are times when we have teams drop out at the last second or we have forfeits. We should be doing everything we can to at least give 2 games to every single team that comes to our tournaments in pool play. For single eliminations, it's your choice to take all the teams or the top X number of teams, whether that be the top 2 teams from every pool, top 1 team from every pool, and then the next 6 best. That's really up to you. And then when it comes to championships, again, we're trying to make this a better experience for the players. We spend a lot of time on the staff and the officials. Do anything you can to add to the event. Try to get them to make it feel like it's more than just another on-campus event, or it's more than just a pool play game. If we can sing the national anthem, if we can do introduction of officials, announcing the players, music at timeouts, if we have a halftime entertainment show, even if that pushes halftime to maybe 10 minutes as opposed to 5 minutes. See what we can do in order to get a little bit more out of the championship game to give that player that even greater feel and that a little bit more enjoyment when it comes to the tournament. So if you can, anything you can do, and if you do add to it, let us know what you do. It's something that we would love to pass on to other tournament hosts. If we think it's a good idea, we could even do it at the national tournament as well. So if there's something you're doing at your tournament that you think is unique, or something that's worked extremely well and the players love, please let us know. So a little more on pool play. If you're using a 4-team format, there's a variety of ways that you can do it. And then with the tiebreaker policy, head-to-head, and then point differential for the 1-on-1 teams. And again, when it comes to selecting who makes it to your knockout stage, that's really up to you. But those are some tiebreaker policies. Elimination play, if you're a smaller tournament, make sure you're giving officials enough games. Be creative. I know a lot of times we select the amount of officials before we know the exact amount of teams. If we run short on teams or a little bit shorter on teams than we were expecting, so we have too many officials, we should not have officials coming to these tournaments only working 3 games. It's not enough games for them to work. I understand that come Sunday or come knockout stages, we want to put the best officials out there. But we know there's a lot of 1 versus 8 games or 1 versus 16 games that are going to be blowouts, and we can put an official at back judge or field judge and still make it. We got to do what we can to make sure these officials are getting enough games and getting enough out of the tournament so they don't feel like they came, only got 3 games, didn't get a fair shot, and then got sent home with nothing. So do what you can to be creative to make sure that the officials are getting enough games. Getting into some financial areas, the tournament budget. You submitted a tournament budget as a part of your application. It's your responsibility for tracking your budget. You're responsible for submitting your post-event budget as part of your 10-day documents to NIRSA, and I go over a little bit of that later in the presentation. But all that will be sent back to NIRSA, and we'll get you the links in order to submit all that prior to your tournament. Student officials, at minimum, they should be getting $9 a game, or you should be giving them a stipend determined by the tournament. Okay, so there's no excuse for not paying your officials. That's unacceptable. They should be getting paid, and it should be determined prior to the tournament. That is something that You should at least be sending to the staff, if not the officials, so they're not coming with one expectation and then they get there and it's a completely different amount of payment that they're receiving. Now, the money shouldn't be the main reason for officials coming, but we all know that making money is an important part of life, so make sure that is known prior to your tournament. For down boxes, you can use the student officials or scorekeepers on off games, but you should be paying them. They should not be volunteering to work down box. If they're working down box, they should get paid. For your student campus volunteers, that's not part of your tournament budget. All right, that's a school cost. You should not be including that in your tournament budget, whether that's your school student officials association or just some of your competitive sports employees. That is not part of your tournament budget. Again, officials payment, $9 a game per official, or doing the flat fee. The national team entry fee, if your champion can't go, look at the runner-up, talk to them. If they can't go, it's really up to you at that point, because obviously you have two teams that lost in the semifinal. But do what you can to get a team to go to the national tournament. Again, this is paid to the national championship. We want to make sure we're getting teams down there. This is not something where your first place team can't go, you say, oh well, and then you don't have to worry about it. Do what you can to find a team that can go. If your number 2 was terrible sports and you don't think they deserve it, but the number 3 team, you like them, they were a strong team, again, it's your call on how to handle it. Just make sure we're getting a team down to the national tournament from each of your divisions. And then the official stipend will go to your number 1 overall official. So when you have your, post-tournament celebration or trophy award ceremony, however you want to call it, it doesn't matter how you announce the officials. If your host school gets one and you want to announce them last because they'll get the largest amount of cheers, that's great. But the stipend needs to go to your number 1 overall official. Some optional costs. You can choose to pay for anything else that you want. You can do additional official stipends to national tournaments. So if you want to pay for 2 officials, you can do additional team entry fees to nationals. You can help out with a travel stipend for teams. A lot of that's really up to you. And this last bullet says this is where you can break even or choose to do something else. So if you're in the green, if you're well in the green, it would mean a lot to the NIRSA Championship Series if you could help out a few more teams getting down to nationals. We would greatly appreciate that. But that is something that it is really up to you what you want to do in terms of any additional costs that you want to put into your tournament. All right, in terms of payments for nationals, so you can pay NIRSA for the amount you would pay out to the teams and official stipend, and NIRSA can make the payments for you. It can be done online, IM Leagues, or to NIRSA headquarters. If paid to NIRSA, they will get a code to enter so they can register their team. All right, so if you want to make it a little bit easier on yourself, you can do everything one payment to NIRSA. If you have questions about that, contact Valerie. But a lot of schools find it a lot easier just to do just the one payment, add up the official stipend, add up all the team champions, all those payments, one payment to NIRSA, and then NIRSA will kind of work it from there. All right, so I talked briefly about the MOU and whatnot. There will be a MOU due the Monday after your tournament. There will be an MOU that is due within 10 days of the end of your tournament, and then an upload form which is also due within 10 days of your tournament. All these should be done in a timely fashion. These mean a lot to the championship series, getting this information. This is something that is expected of you and something that you agreed to when you signed up to host the NIRSA regional tournament. And again, the links will be sent out. And again, I had the new NIRSA coordinator on here. This was information that was just given to me today, so I'm sure Valerie is ecstatic having Keely on board as the new NIRSA coordinator. So that will be sent out to you prior to your tournament. So your MOU outlines what needs to happen in the deadlines. So we'd like photos, champions, all tournament players, all tournament officials. It will be an online submission, which makes everything a lot easier. Photo, Excel files, etc. will be able to be submitted online. Some other files will have to be emailed, so you can scan them in an email or fax them or whatnot. And again, once all that is ready, we'll send out all the links and everything to you, all the information that you need to know prior to your tournament, so you're able to get all that stuff completed on time. There are certain things that the liaisons will need immediately. So they should be reaching out to you right after your tournament as well, and they'll be asking for results. So all pool play and all brackets, preferably in a format we can easily access. So Excel or Word or PDF. We would prefer you not to scan a handwritten bracket completed with, chicken scratch scores next to it and whatnot. It would make it a lot easier for us. This is going to help us place teams in pools and schedule the national tournament. Also, here it says that it needs to be emailed to me, but it might be something I just have you email to the liaisons as well. But we do want your officials in order, 1 through ideally 6. I asked for 6 names. It does not necessarily mean all 6 will get in, but that helps us a lot because 1 will determine, based on the amount of teams at your tournament, the amount of people that automatically get bids to nationals. But then when we're looking at large officials, we can see exactly where they ranked. If they said they went to Swamp Bowl and they're applying for at-large, and I look at the list that Keegan sends me, and the official is ranked 6th, and the official that ranked 4th also applied to at-large, there's a good chance we'll take the official that was 4th as opposed to 6th. So please send those. But again, just because you're sending me 6 names does not mean that all 6 of them have a bid to the national tournament. So do not tell the officials, that are, 4, 5, and 6 that they have a bid just because you're submitting the name. That is not how that works. So this was supposed to be Scott Flickinger. I'm not sure if Scott was able to make it on. I know he has been on vacation for a couple weeks, so I'm sure he is extremely busy getting ready for the start of his school year. So I will do the best that I can to go over the brand management. This is something where if you have questions, I am likely not going to be the person who can answer those questions, but Scott Flickinger will be the one that you can contact, and his information is on the NIRSA Championship Series page, as he is the chair of the brand management work. The NIRSA Championship Series name and logo distinctly and clearly identify all NIRSA extramural events, sport club championships, and sponsored and endorsed activities. The NIRSA Championship Series brand generates greater national appeal and campus credibility for the association and raises recognition, awareness, and visibility for student participants. There will be a brand management liaison for your tournaments. I believe Flick will probably be the one for most of them because he loves to travel to the tournaments and go to as many as he can. But each tournament will have a liaison, so if you do have questions, please contact that liaison. The brand management liaison will be different from your flag football work team liaison, so you will have a couple people reaching out to you from some of our work teams. And on social media, at NIRSA Champ is the Twitter handle for our NIRSA Championship Series. There's also Instagram. I know Scott Flickinger and his team use a whole lot as well. So again, if you have any specific questions on that, reach out to Scott, reach out to your liaison for brand management. Some expectations. We want you to use NIRSA Championship Series or NIRSA Regional Flag Football. We don't want you to use NCS, or it used to be called NCCS. try to write it out, which I know on a tweet you only get so many characters. Do your best to write it out as opposed to using some of the acronyms. Work with this and your specific tournament name. So if, again, to use the University of Florida, there's known as the Swamp Bowl. Use all of that, work into all your social media posts. Logos, use the NIRSA provided logo on all official documents. They're all located on the NIRSA Championship Series page, so you're able to access those. Right under your contact information, it'll say download logos, so you can grab them that way if you need. They are also working on a branding handbook, so once that is completed, that will be sent out to you as well. In terms of planning for your tournament, each tournament should designate a point person for social media. So if you have someone on your staff, your competitive sports staff, your Student Officials Association, whatever it may be, that is interested in social media, this is a great opportunity for them to get more involved in your tournament. You can use them. You can use someone else who's applied to be on staff. Whoever you do decide, please share that information with Scott so he has all that. Again, with the liaison, you will have one for your tournament, so if you have questions, please use them. Some liaisons will be available to attend your tournaments, so use them as a source of training for your brand management staff. So if you have a team of, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many it may be, hopefully the liaison's able to attend your tournament, and they can kind of work with your team to kind of build our brand and build the social media for your specific tournament. OC, you have a comment about brand management that you want to add?
Oh, I was just going to tell you, I can wait to the end, but I know with Flick, he'd want me to mention this, that a lot of you have tournaments on the same date, so just be conscious that when you flood the social media sites with something from your tournament, it's wiping out a lot of stuff from others. So be responsible when using social media in terms of tweeting out or Instagramming things. I think the important things like scores and brackets are always great because Flick and the brand management team can retweet those. Same thing with Instagram with videos and stuff. Just don't inundate the sites with just your regional, because each representative will be using that same brand management Twitter or Instagram, and they'll have to keep competing with each other. So just be conscious of others and their tournaments.
Absolutely. And then on the right of this slide, you can see again the championship. NIRSA Champ is the handle, hashtags that you can use, and some more information on brand management. For the post-event assessment information, April Flint's going to be contacting you directly with what she needs and what her team needs in order to accurately assess our tournaments. And again, participant and officials' names, genders, and email addresses must be sent to the assessment team following your tournament. National tournament is January 6th to the 8th of 2017. So it is pushed back a week just based on when New Year's falls this year. Qualifications for nationals is $400 per team. There will be a $50 late fee. That date is still being decided on. I know last year was about the 9th or 10th of December. Championship teams from each division will qualify. The tournament is still an open format and any team can participate. There will once again be an open division at the national tournament. If a team wins multiple tournaments, they need to choose which package they want to accept. Tournaments not selected by that team, that tournament needs to look into the second place team or whatnot to try to find a team to fill that void, because we want to do everything we can, again, to have teams representing every single tournament, every single division. So this is something that was implemented last year, so it has not changed in its selection of officials. So if you're a regional tournament with 19 or fewer, you're guaranteed 2 spots. If you're a tournament with 20 to 39, you get 3 spots, and 40 or more teams, you're guaranteed 4 officials bids to the national tournament. All tournaments will submit 1 alternate official along with their selected officials. And again, this is where when you're sending me 1 through 6, it helps a lot, as opposed to if you're a tournament with 25 teams, you only send me 3 names. that doesn't help a lot. So please make sure you're sending me 1 through 6. Regional Director of Officials will get the information on how to submit all of that, and then same with the list of the championship crews. Institutional registration. So if schools have institutional registration, they're able to, depending on what level, also get officials. Returning All-Americans are able to officiate at the Nationals again this year, as long as they officiate or as long as they work a regional tournament. Military officials are guaranteed 2 officials if they do select to send officials to the tournament. Non-NIRSA endorsed tournaments may secure 1 officiating spot for their top official by completing the official's application and submitting it to the National Director of Officials by December 1st. At-large official spots, an official who has officiated a minimum of 1 regional or state tournament may apply to the national tournament by completing the application and submitting it to the National Director of Officials by December 1st. In terms of how we handle officials' bids from the regionals, your number of bids is determined by teams again. Again, please rank them 1 through 6 when you send them to me. If an official has a bid already, treat them as a normal official, and if they're a number 1 ranked official, then acknowledge and achieve that. But your national bids will go to your number 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Instead of that number 1 already. But if they have a bid and they're still one of your best officials, they should be recognized as an all-tournament official at your regional tournament. The tournament travel stipend would also go to the number 2 official in this case if that individual was already a number 1 overall official and then was number 1 overall again. If one of your officials receives a bid and cannot go to nationals, you can find out at your tournament. Then you're able to replace them. If you find out after your tournament is completed, the National Director of Officials will select from the pool of alternates starting with your regional. And then after December 11th, the Director of Officials will select an eligible official who can attend starting with geographically close to tournaments. It's a lot easier to get people who are able to drive to Pensacola as opposed to asking a couple weeks prior to people to book flights down to Pensacola. Officials will receive the following. Again, $150 travel stipend for the number 1 overall official. It can be paid by your regional or paid to NIRSA post-tournament. NIRSA will pay the official. At the national tournament, every attempt will be made to pay the officials at the completion of the tournament. And that's why we ask for their information by December 1st so we can ensure that we have a check for them. All-American officials will be selecting 10 at the national tournament again. If that number changes, we will let you know, but that's not really something that impacts regional tournaments. Director of Officials webinar will be ready to go by the middle of middle of September, and at that point we'll reach out to all the Director of Officials based on the list that you submit to us, and we will get them to watch the webinar. If any Director of Officials need any materials, we ask them to reach out to Jason Gant to help out on those. If you have multiple Director of Officials at your tournament, that's great. Work it however is best for your tournament. You could have one handle officials training and scheduling, one handle evaluator collaboration, whatever you want. It's not a bad thing to have multiple Director of Officials at your tournament. We also do a webinar for the regional officials. So again, that'll be ready by October 1st, and we're able to send that out to all regional hosts and director officials to pass on to all the officials that will be attending your tournament. Regional Director of Officials should email the web link, again, within 2 weeks of the regional date to give the officials enough time to watch it. It's about 20 minutes long, and we think 2 weeks should be ample amount of time. It's not something that should be sent out Wednesday or Thursday prior to the tournament. The officials should review the material with their professional on campus, and this is not to serve as a replacement for officials training sessions at regional. You still should have that, however many hour session prior to games beginning where you're going over your expectations and a refresher on some of the rules and mechanics at your tournament. So some contact information if you need it. My information's right there at the top. Jessica Coleman from University of West Florida. She's the National Tournament Co-Director. Brooke Turner is the Series Chair at Alabama. Her information's there. Keegan Ashby is the Chair for Standards. If you have any eligibility questions or things of that nature, you can reach out to him. April Flint is the Chair for the Assessment Work Team. Scott Flickinger, Chair for Brand Management. Mary Emma is the Chair of Student and Professional Development. NIRSA contacts, again, Valerie and Keely, their information has been on several slides throughout the presentation, so you can always reach out to the two of them if you do have any questions concerning NIRSA. So with that, again, thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules. If you have any questions, feel free to either go ahead and type them in now, shoot me an email afterwards. Be happy to answer them. But again, many of you have done this several times, if not a dozen times or more. We trust each and every one of your tournaments to be extremely successful. We're here as a resource, not as a governing body to tell you exactly how to do things. This webinar, might have served more of a refresher more so than anything else, but we know school's about to get started and we don't want these tournaments to kind of fall on the back burner for a couple months, and then before you know it, it's only a few weeks prior to your tournament. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, but thank you again and best of luck this upcoming season. I hope to see all of you around, and thank you all again. Good luck this season, and school is starting. It's going to drive all of us crazy, but it's that time of year. Thank you all.